Hello, welcome back to Al Talks. This episode is being recorded on the 13th of April. I was at Giggles, yesterday was Tuesday, so I was at Giggles last night. Really good crowd. I worked on, because I have a new bit that I'm trying to flush out, or flesh out, as they say. And it went down really well, especially last night, because last night was a really good crowd. The bit that I have is that I could just, like, when I was a kid, I used to take like um, random poos around our apartment and not tell anyone, like phantom poos. And for the entirety of the night last night at Giggles, because it's quite a shocking story, like, and as well because I was really small, I have no recollection of this whatsoever. So for the entirety of the night, people were just playing off this, going, off my bit. And at the end, we all had like a really good laugh about it. But yeah, like it was like last night was a lot of fun. Really looking forward to doing Breen now next week. I'm ready, I suppose. I have, I have a little list here, just of jokes for Bray that I want to do. So it's like I said, it's an 8 minute set because I thought it'd be five. And one, three, yeah. I think a little bit of crowd work as well. Cause I'm not great at crowd work. Um, it's for me. I don't know why I'm like I when I started out, I used to do a crowd work bit, and like it kind of didn't work out. And someone told me that give me advice that mm, like crowd work can be fun, but they said you're there to entertain, so try and kind of keep that to a minimum and stuff like that. It's kind of really for the host to do, or I don't know. So I kind of don't do it anymore, but I'll give it a go. In Breen, see how it goes, because it's a longer set. Because usually at Giggles, I want to get my bits in because only a 5 minute set. Well, it's not a strict 5 minute set because yesterday I think it was about because I got one of my friends to record my set yesterday, so I have that footage. Might release it, might not. We'll see. But like I think I might have told you last week. I actually have a lot of content. I think about four comedy vlog episodes that I have to upload yet. Uh, uh but I think that's it in terms of news. Other than like really enjoying gigs last night. Really good crowd. I think it was about 18 comedians, and then a guy getting up for the first time ever. At the end of my set, I promoted the podcast, and people thought it was like a bit. It was like it's not because anytime like I usually forget to promote the podcast, and anytime I remember um to promote it, people think it's a bit, and it's like no, it's not a bit. It's actually a real thing. It exists. Um, okay, well, that's what the computer was spazzing out again. But yeah. So leaving the open mic yesterday because I wasn't staying the night in Dublin. I was coming back on the bus, so I was walking back in the city centre, and I just had a quick look at Instagram. I'm gonna walk up, and one of my friends, who was also a comedian, and my put on his Instagram, he had put up R.I.P. Godfrey Gilbert, Gilbert Gottfried, and I was like, what? He couldn't have died. So I googled it, and unfortunately, on the 12th, Gilbert Gottfried passed away from a long illness. He was 67. Um, but what I was on Google looking at, um, there was a picture that was put up. I don't know who put it up, but it was a picture of Gilbert, Louis Anderson, and Bob Saget in the one photo. And like I've talked about Saget's passing, I've talked about Louis' passing, and it really hit me. It was like, and then when I got to Dublin City Centre, I met two comics that performed in Giggles Me that night. They were heading out for more drinks, and I said it to them, like, look, Gilbert Gottfried had passed away. They were like, what? No. And and I said, like, obviously I've never met Gilbert. He never knew I existed, but as a comedian, it is, it's quite sad because in the last, say, 2 years, a lot of great comics have passed away. Like I mentioned Louis, I mentioned Bob Saget, Norm Macdonald as well, and it's always sad because all of those comics that I mentioned, they would have been 30, 40 year comics, and it is. Remember one good, I think it was during the roast of Charlie Sheen. Um, it was a woman comedian. I can't remember her name, but she was saying that recently she's been dating a lot of black men, and Gilbert came out and for his roast bit, and he goes, because Gilbert always, his facial expression was like this all the time, like he was constantly smiling. Um, but that's just the way his face was. It's like Jim Brewer. Jim Brewer's face looks like he's always stoned or drunk, but it's not. It's just that's how Jim Brewer's face looks. So Gilbert came on and he said, "How could you be dating all these black men? It's like you're the size of a slave ship. If anything, they'd run away from you." And because that roast of Charlie Sheen happened a long time ago, and and that was the first time I came across Gilbert, and I remember I wondered to myself, like, who is that man? Who is this comedian? And because it was just, really funny joke. And I remember listening to the last episode he did on the JRE experience, where he talked about, SNL and how they treated him badly and stuff like that. And how, he was talking about comedy and stuff like that, because, like I said, he's been doing comedy for a very long time. He's been doing it for 30, 40 years, like, and we'll talk about the stuff that he's learned and things like that, and how his comedy has evolved. But this morning as well, watching all the comedians give their tributes to Gilbert, like I said, it's quite unfortunate. Um, but R.I.P. Gilbert. Thank you for the laughs, especially that joke that made me notice you about the slave ships. It's a pretty good bit. Like, um, what else? I don't think anything else really. I mean, really look forward to Bray. I'll try and upload more. I'll try get those comedy vlogs up as soon as possible. And what else? I don't think there's anything else. The We actually had a conversation with a couple of comics last night about the Minty's Indie Club bullshit from last week's episode, but because it certainly is bullshit. But then again, like one of my friends made a good point. It's like, look, if some comedians or whoever wants to pay to go up, and it's like it will be their only kind of opportunity, then it's their business at the end of the day. I realize that, but also it's like I said, it's shitty. Like you shouldn't do that sort of stuff, but you know, each to their own. But that will be all for this week's episode. Next week's episode will be I'll be talking about how I got on in Bray and stuff. But that's about it. I think next week, I think the only gig I'm doing is Bray. I'm not sure about my time schedule for work yet, but if I'm off Tuesday or Monday, I'll definitely go in and try because the circle session's on Monday at the International where they don't charge to attend. Um, but yeah, so I'll give it a go, and if I'm off, but otherwise, other than that, that's this week's episode. Once again, rest in peace, Gilbert, one of the greats, and thanks for all the support so far. And once again, if you want to buy merch, I have these stickers. You can get them. Just message me out on my social media or on my email. But that's it. Thanks for watching, folks, and I'll see you next week.